Now, I want to ask you about Russia because you're pushing this bill to impose severe new sanctions on Russia. Have you gotten Trump on board
Big
with
breakthrough here. So what does this bill do? If you're buying products from Russia and you're not helping Ukraine, then there's a 500% tariff on your products coming to the United States. India and China buy 70% of Putin's oil. They keep his war machine going. My bill has 84 co-sponsors. It would allow the president to put tariffs on China and India and other countries to get them, stop them from supporting Putin's war machine to get him to the table. For the first time yesterday, President told me.
You were playing golf with him.
Yeah, I was playing golf with him. He says, it's time to move your bill. There's a waiver in the bill, Mr. President. You're in charge of whether or not it's to be implemented. But we're going to give President Trump a tool in the toolbox he doesn't have today. After the July break, we're going to pass a bill that would allow the president.
Going to sign it.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape. But he has a waiver. It's up to him how to impose it. But we're trying to get Putin to the table.
This is my video update on this Monday afternoon, June the 30th, coming to you from Athens, Greece. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the German foreign minister's trip to Kiev. His first official trip to Kiev. The new German foreign minister who took over for Annalena 360, who goes by the name of Johann Wadefull. Johann Wadefull. Johann Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful arrived in Kiev to meet with Churchill #2, also known as Abraham Lincoln #2, also known as the Green Goblin, also known as Volodymyr Zelensky. And he got the permission of the Russians to travel to Kiev because all of these collective West leaders, if they are going to travel to Kiev via train, they have to reach out to the Russians to make sure everything will be okay so that they can travel to Kiev and pay homage to the Green Goblin. And I'm sure that Mr. Wonderful was also traveling with an entourage full of intel agents. I would guess, this is just a guess on my part, intel agents and money and what else was he bringing? Plans and plots and schemes for the Alinski regime. It is Germany that has now taken the pole position in support for Project Ukraine. They have overtaken Never Here, 008, Stammer, and the UK. They've kind of faded in the background from Project Ukraine. Never Here, Kier. It doesn't talk about Project Ukraine that much anymore. And Germany is now taking the lead pole position in its support for escalation with Russia, and as long as it takes support for Project Ukraine. The BlackRock MERZ administration, they need war, or they need the appearance of war, because they have very ambitious plans to borrow money, to spend money on the military-industrial complex and on infrastructure that is connected to Germany's security and military-industrial complex, and they want to spend a whole crap load of money on these things, and they need to keep the war going because that is the excuse that BlackRock MERZ is running with for his ambitious military spending spree. The Economist says Germany is embarking on an almighty borrowing binge, but it's not without risks. Got to keep the war going. Got to keep the appearance of escalation and the war going if you are Germany. What else do you have left? Nord Stream's been destroyed. Cheap, reliable, dependable Russian energy that powered the German economy is gone and is never coming back. I read an article the other day which said that in the first 6 months of 2025, 12,000 German companies have closed down. 140,000 or some crazy number of German citizens are without work. That's what I read a couple of days ago. I don't know how accurate that is, but 0.2% growth. Many analysts say Germany is in recession, even though they're saying 0.2% growth, but they're really in recession anyway. It's BlackRock MERZ that needs to keep this Alinski train on the tracks. The Kiev Post says Putin doesn't want negotiations. He wants capitulation, German foreign minister says during Kiev visit. Johann Wonderful also warned that Russia is betting on a weakening of Western support and is determined to achieve conquest and submission at any cost. So, Lindsey Graham, he was on Collective West weekend talk show media, Lindsey Graham, and he said that, I believe this was ABC News, he said that U.S. President Trump is cool with his the crushing of bones. Lindsey Graham. He loves to crush them bones. Lindsey Graham, his 500% bone-crushing secondary sanctions on Russia. He said that President Trump is absolutely down with it. He is down with some bone crushing. And so Lindsey Graham, he told ABC News that he has, he has 84 co-sponsors of his he has 84 co-sponsors of his bone-crushing bill ready to go, and they're going to vote on that bone-crushing bill and get it to Trump's desk in July, and that Trump will be able to use this as a tool in his toolbox. The only tool in the toolbox that I see is bone crusher Lindsey Graham. But yeah, Lindsey Graham is saying, I'm gonna get this bill passed, and I'm gonna hand it over to Trump, and Trump can use it as a tool in his toolbox. 500% sanctions, Lindsey Graham told ABC News, on countries like China and like India that decide to purchase Russian energy in order to fuel Putin's war machine. Oh man, you know what's going to happen with this bill? I'm sure that Trump told Lindsey, yeah, go ahead, pass this, this bone-crushing 500% secondary sanctions bill slash embargo on China and India. Knock yourself out, Lindsey. As long as everything is cool with the big beautiful bill, the BBB, go ahead, pass this bone-crushing bill. Yeah, absolutely. Send it over to the White House, and I will use it as a possible tool in my toolbox. And he's going to take that bill. Trump's going to take that bill. He's going to shove it in a drawer in one of the desks in the Oval Office. And he's never going to ever use it because Trump understands that you would have to be brain dead stupid to use this bill against not Russia, but against China and India. That would be the perfect way for Trump to completely destroy the U.S. economy, would be to utilize Lindsey's bone-crushing sanctions tool. But that's what's going on here. Trump's going to take that bill and he's going to shove it in some desk somewhere, never to be seen ever again. A tool in the toolbox. U.S. Senator says his Russian sanctions bill has Trump's support. My bill has 84 co-sponsors. Senator Graham said it would allow the president to put tariffs on China and India and other countries to stop them from supporting Putin's war machine. If you're buying products from Russia and you're not helping Ukraine, then there's a 500% tariff on your products coming into the United States, Graham said, explaining the language of the bill. Yeah, if Trump was to ever use this ridiculous tool, he would have to place an embargo and sanctions on China, on India, on all of Europe, on the entire world, on the United States. He would have to sanction and embargo the United States. It's all for show. Lindsey Graham is doing this so he can play it tough. The tough man, Lindsey Graham, the tough neocon. The New York Times is reporting, drifting from the West's orbit, Russians find a new role model in China. China has become trendy for Russians who once worshipped everything Western. Young people are learning Mandarin, and Chinese culture and goods have become ubiquitous in Moscow. How dare you, Russia? How dare you drift away from the Western orbit that you once worshipped? How dare you drift away? Just because the collective West started a proxy war against you, wanted to regime change, the Putin administration placed 657,000 sanctions on you, cut off flights to Russia, cut you off from SWIFT. You want to now drift away from the West. How dare you? Jeez, what are Russians thinking, man? Why would you want to drift away from the West? All they want to do is just regime change you and break apart your country and balkanize your country. What's wrong with that? Why so much hate? Why are you drifting away from me, man? I just want to regime change you, throw you into chaos, pillage and plunder your resources, and break your country up into 6 or 7 different warring, chaotic pieces. The New York Times is funny. All right, let's move on. Obliterated or not obliterated? That is the question. As the once great Shakespeare wrote, obliterated or not obliterated? That is the question. Were the nuclear facilities obliterated or not obliterated? According to the Washington Post, intercepted call of Iranian official downplays damage of U.S. attack. The officials were heard saying Trump's strike on Iran proved less devastating than expected. The administration calls the intelligence insignificant. Donald Trump fires back at the not obliterated narrative on Truth Social by saying, tell phony Democrat Senator Chris Coons that I am not offering Iran anything, unlike Obama, who paid them billions under the stupid road to a nuclear weapon, JCPOA, which would now be expired, nor am I talking to them since we totally obliterated, all caps, their nuclear facilities. Obliterated or not obliterated? So the neocons and the neolibs and the war machine, they absolutely want the narrative of not obliterated to take hold, because if it's not obliterated, then for the war machine they can get another attack into Iran going. But if obliterated wins out, then they have to think up a new attack line, and they don't want to pay the script writers any more than they have to by having to think up a new narrative for going after Iran. Hey, my friend, come here. Walk this way, Mr. Parakeet. Another parakeet. Let's see if they will allow me to sit next to them and continue to record this video. All right, let's get to some news. We've had our daily parakeet spotting here in Athens, Greece. All right, where was I? Obliterated or not obliterated? Yeah. The obliterated narrative will allow them to put pressure on the Trump administration to go after Iran, and the not obliterated narrative would allow them to put pressure to go after Trump. Also embarrasses Trump. If you're a Democrat, like Coons, who I believe is a senator from Delaware, and she's super good friends with Bidenopoulos, Greece's favorite son. It embarrasses Trump. So if you're a Democrat, it also serves that purpose. The not obliterated, but Trump is saying obliterated. That is what Trump is saying. If the plan is to continue with regime change against Iran, and I'm sure there is that plan, the Trump administration, Israel, they're not ready to go after Iran just yet. Bro, this guy is so close to me right now. I can't believe my eyes. What are you looking for, my friend? Water, that's what he wants. He wants some water. He's thirsty. Who cares about the news? Who cares about the news? Parakeets are so much more interesting. All right. So, yeah, Israel's resupplying because they were depleted of their weapons. They suffered a lot in the war of attrition. Even the U.S. Suffered in the war of attrition. The THAAD missiles and the bunker busters. They went through a lot of their stockpiles. So if the plan is to eventually continue with regime change, I imagine even the Trump White House is saying not in the next month or two. Anyway, let's move on. And how about this? Iran's parliament passed a law banning Starlink internet services. So Starlink is gone. Grossi's not allowed in the country. They removed the security cameras from the nuclear facilities because, according to Iranian officials, information was being passed on to Israel so that they can target the nuclear facilities or even the nuclear scientists. There are some reports which say that information was passed on to Israel about the nuclear scientists as well. I don't know if that's true or not, but now you have Starlink, which is being cut off in Iran. I'm surprised they allowed Starlink to operate in Iran, to be honest. What else? Netanyahu's court case postponed. Yesterday I was talking about Trump's second tweet in support of Netanyahu and against the court case for Netanyahu, a court case about Netanyahu, and what was he doing? He was getting gifts, all kinds of gifts, and he was providing, from what I understand, he provided preferential treatment to a media company or something like that in order for the media company to support him. I forgot the details of the fraud case against Netanyahu and the money that he was getting and the gifts that he was getting and the money that he was giving out. and stuff like that. But Trump is not happy with the court case against Netanyahu. He says it's a witch hunt, and he's posted twice about it on Truth Social. And yesterday's post, Trump actually said, or he hinted at how the United States would stop funding Israel, would stop providing money and support to Israel if they continued what he called the witch hunt against Netanyahu, who he called a war hero. Didn't Netanyahu travel to Greece when the 12-day war started? He got on a flight and he traveled to Greece, or at least that's the story. I think that's been confirmed, actually. But the court case has now been postponed. It worked. Trump's warning, his hint at U.S. support being cut to Israel, it looks like it worked. And the court case has been postponed. And Netanyahu posted on X, I believe he posted a thank you to Trump as well. I believe he posted this before the decision to postpone the court case came out, but I'm sure that Netanyahu got wind of the fact that the court case will be postponed. So what's going on here, man? I don't know what's going on. I'm asking you guys what's going on. I'm looking at it as two things are possibly playing out. Possibility number one is that there's some sort of big deal that has been put together, and Netanyahu, his court case, the courts dropping the court case because of Trump's pressure on Israel, Netanyahu being allowed to walk free and not having to worry about the courts coming after him. And in exchange, you're going to get some sort of extended ceasefire, maybe with Iran, because Trump for the next couple of months doesn't want any trouble with Iran. Maybe you're gonna get a deal in Gaza, because Trump definitely needs a big foreign policy win, and Gaza, getting some sort of deal in Gaza, in the Middle East, the Abraham Accords, expanding that to include Syria, Saudi Arabia. Maybe this is all part of a grand deal, and perhaps the Trump administration, they've understood that Netanyahu, he needs to have this court case removed, so that perhaps you can get to elections as well and get someone new in place. Maybe that's the big bargain that has been put together. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Or the other possibility is that Trump is coming out in support of Netanyahu, big time support of Netanyahu, because it's the opposite of what I just said. Maybe he wants to support Netanyahu, keep Netanyahu in office, remove the pressures of the court case, so that in the next couple of months they can make another attempt at regime changing Iran, and continue the escalation with Iran, continue what's happening in Gaza. That's the other option. I'm thinking it's the first one. I'm thinking that Trump, and the only reason I say that, one reason I say that is that in the next couple of months, I'm thinking that Trump needs a big foreign policy win, because he hasn't had a big foreign policy win. And he's absolutely disengaging from Project Ukraine because he realizes he's lost that. The whole Iran 12-day war, he's trying to spin it as a big win, but you see that he's not quite getting there. He's getting a lot of pushback that this was a big foreign policy win, the 12-day conflict with Iran. And so I don't know. I'm thinking that Trump may be saying, you know what, for the next 2-3 months, I need to get a big foreign policy win. So let's put some big deal together in the Middle East. Maybe that could be what's going on. But then my instinct tells me that they have no reverse gear, and so they're going to definitely go after Iran sooner or later. Maybe they'll put it on hold until 2026. Maybe. Anyway, what are your thoughts? What do you think is going on? No doubt, the court case with Netanyahu, Trump putting pressure on the courts, no doubt that this is connected in some way to Iran, to Gaza, to Trump saying that he wants a deal in Gaza, to the 12-day war and the ceasefire in Iran and all of these things. No doubt all of this is connected. In Syria, you have al-Jawlani now. What did he say? He said that the HTS ISIS Bizarro Alinski al-Jawlani, he said that the Golan Heights, he's not going to cause any difficulty with the Golan Heights. Essentially saying that he's going to give over the Golan Heights to Israel. At least that's what I understood from his statement. So al-Jawlani is ready to hand over the Golan Heights to Israel. He didn't say as much, but you could tell in his statement that was pretty much what he was getting at. Syria would be included in this new Abraham Accord deal that's being talked about. No doubt this is all connected. I just don't know if it's connected in the form of a big deal that may give us some sort of an extended pause in hostilities, or if this is about just ramping things up. I wish I had the answers. I don't have the answers. It's a very complicated situation. Reuters says court cancels Israel PM Netanyahu's trial hearing this week. Axios says Trump's pro-Bibi pressure campaign. And Ynet says that Netanyahu may be preparing the Israeli public opinion to ending the Gaza war. In his latest remarks, Netanyahu positioned the release of hostages as a higher priority than fully destroying Hamas. This is true. This is why I'm leaning more towards the first option that I talked about, because Netanyahu gave a speech, and it was the first time that Netanyahu has said that the release of the hostages takes priority over Hamas. So that's what Ynet is reporting. Let's go to Serbia, guys. Let's talk about Serbia. And yesterday I said that after the peaceful protests, the very large peaceful protests that took place on Saturday, which then led to some violent protests later in the evening, I said that most likely on Sunday things would calm down and everything would go back to normal. That's usually how these very large protests run their course. I was wrong about that, it seems, because what the protesters have done, and I can't confirm this because I'm not in Belgrade, on the ground in Belgrade. I've seen some videos and some images, as well as some statements that have come out. The protesters have decided to erect barricades throughout streets in Belgrade, and they are demanding that Vučić call elections. That is what they are calling for. Citizens are blocking entire Belgrade in response to police brutality and mass arrests of students. Even the smallest intersections are barricaded. Yesterday, the students declared the Vučić regime illegitimate and called everyone to commence civil disobedience. I don't know, people living in Belgrade that are watching this video, what are the streets like? Have they been barricaded? Are these just the major streets in Belgrade, or are we looking at a lot of streets throughout the city having barricades? So it would be interesting to find out what's going on the ground in Belgrade. Lavrov, he talked about the situation in Serbia, and he said that Russia is interested in them being calmed down on the basis of the Constitution, and hopes that the West will not engage in a color revolution. That is the fear. That is the fear. I think this is the tricky situation that is now taking place in Serbia. The student peaceful protesters, which have a lot of support from the people in Serbia, they want the Vučić government to call elections. They want these protests to be peaceful. The Serbian government would like to end the protests but they would like to find a way to end them. I would imagine they would like to find a way to end them in a peaceful manner, because they don't want, if you're a proper government, you do not want violence to break out, because that would work against your government, but you want to find a way to end the protests. And the protesters, they're protesting peacefully, but the fear that Lavrov is expressing is of the West trying to take advantage of this. So the protesters and the government, but especially the protesters, need to be vigilant. Both sides need to be vigilant to make sure that you don't get any Western infiltrators, I guess is Lavrov's message. Hopes that the West will not engage in a color revolution. That's what Lavrov said. The Russian government has been very supportive of Vučić as well. They have supported Vučić, even though Vučić has not exactly played fair with the Russian government, especially after the whole weapons investigation from a week ago. But they have supported Vučić. I think the Russian government's view on this is it's the guy that we know, and so that's usually how Russian foreign policy is. We know him. It's like Erdogan. Yes, he's difficult to deal with, but we know him, and so we'll stick with him. Anyway, interesting statement from Lavrov. He also talked about Armenia, and he said the situation in Armenia is the country's internal affairs, but attacks on the church are a concern. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. A very large Armenian community in Russia, very large, and very, very powerful. I believe Lavrov is Lavrov part Armenian? I don't know. Margarita Simonyan is of Armenian heritage, isn't she? Yeah, Margarita Simonyan, absolutely. Yeah, Peskov also said that this is an internal affair for Armenia when he was asked about what's going on in Armenia. But it's very concerning that you have the first country, the first Christian country in history. Armenia became Christian, first country to become Christian, to adopt Christianity. And now you have Pashinyan going after Christianity, going after the Armenian church. It's very concerning. Pashinyan drifting away from Russia, from Eurasia, and trying to integrate with the collective West. Of course, you do have a very large Armenian diaspora in France and the United States as well. A very, very powerful Armenian diaspora. And then there were three. All right, so let's get to Alinski and the Green Goblin. He put out a Telegram, TikTok, Instagram post the other day, and Alinski wanted the world to know that Ukraine will also be synchronizing its sanctions policy with their collective West partners, so that they are also going to be sanctioning Iran. That's right, Iran. Alinski's going to be sanctioning you in coordination with the collective West partners, because Alinski, he's part of the collective West, right? He's part of that group of collective West leaders. So if they sanction Iran, then he has to sanction Iran. So that is the message that Alinski put out yesterday. The Crocus terrorist attack. Remember the Crocus City Hall terrorist attack, which killed 146 people and left 600 or 700 people injured. That happened in March of 2024. We have some results from the investigation. According to the case files cited by the media, the suspects from the Crocus City terrorist attack told investigators that a Ukrainian state entity had ordered the attack, while ISIS-K served as a direct organizer. They reportedly said the weapons used in the massacre had come from Ukrainian territory. So this is what Russian media was reporting, that the terrorists who were captured, I think it was 4 guys, they were making their way to Ukraine, trying to escape to Ukraine, and Russia. They captured them, of course, and now, as the investigation is unfolding, over a year of an investigation, they are saying that it was a Ukrainian state entity that put the whole thing together, and they used ISIS-K as a type of front. They were going to get something like $13,000 or $14,000 once they made it to Ukraine. That's another thing that they said. So, special military operation to an anti-terrorist operation. Is something like that about to come? Possibly. Trump, he gave an interview to Maria Bartiromo of Fox News, and Trump, he says some interesting things. Trump, he was asked about China, and Maria Bartiromo was talking about how China is spying and they're cheating and they're stealing and fentanyl and all of these bad things that China is doing. And Trump told Maria Bartiromo, he says, "You don't think we're not doing the same? Of course we're doing the same." That was some honesty from Trump, right?
But they are paying substantial tariffs.
Well, I noticed that because it seems like you go so far with China, but you don't sort of use the leverage that you can use. I mean, look.
If I ever had to use it, I'd use it. But when there's no reason to use it, that's good too.
Well, we did just arrest 3 or 4 Chinese nationals who tried to bring a pathogen into the country that gets people sick and destroys food supply. We've got hacking.
You don't know where that came from, though. I mean, did that come from the country, or is that 3 wackos that happened to carry something? You know, you just don't.
Well, there was one that he signed that he would be, one of them signed a paper saying that he would value Mao Zedong's value system. So there was that. And then they hack into our telecom system. They've been stealing intellectual property, fentanyl, code, I mean, you know, all of this stuff. So how do you negotiate with obviously a bad actor and trust them on economics?
You don't think we do that to them? We do.
So
we do a lot of things.
That's the way the world works?
That's the way the world works. It's a nasty world.
And then you just do a trade deal?
We do. Well, we made a lot of money with this trade deal. You know, I do a trade deal if it works. We made a lot of money with the trade deal.
Her face was just like, oh, I can't believe you're saying this. Trump told her, we're doing the same exact stuff. This is the real world. This is reality, Maria. That was an interesting exchange between Trump and the Fox News or the Fox Business host. But Trump also mentioned that he has a TikTok buyer. Since I was talking about Alinski and his TikTok video, Trump has a TikTok buyer. He says a very wealthy group of investors are ready to buy TikTok, but the Chinese government is saying not so fast. Not so fast. If we're talking about a sale of TikTok or a part of TikTok, well, you know, we have to take a look at that. As China, we have to look at some sort of a sale of a part of TikTok to these U.S. wealthy investors. I wouldn't be surprised if China says no. That would not surprise me. So let's do a clown world, and we can wrap this video up. And today's clown world, we go to Estonia. And we have some math difficulty in Estonia. What is going on in Estonia, man? What are they teaching in Estonian schools? Because man, this was pretty embarrassing for the Estonian Minister of Education. Now, if this is not AI, and I don't think this is AI because I've seen about 20 or 30 posts of this video, this interview with the Estonian Minister of Education, and I have not seen a community note or anything like that, but maybe by the time this video goes up, maybe there is a community note, and maybe this is fake, maybe this is AI. If it is, well then, you know, what can I do? I can't do anything about that. But at the time of recording this video, no community note, no comments that this is fake, or this is AI, or this is some sort of Russian misinformation. Russian propaganda. I haven't seen anything like that. So I'm just going to run with the story and assume it is real. The Estonian Minister of Education, Kristina Kallas. Really? Kristina Kallas? Nuh-uh. That's not right. Was unable to answer a simple school-level question in an interview and proudly said, I don't know. She was asked, what was she asked? What is 8? 1 second. What is 8 times 4? I believe was the question that was asked of Kristina Kallas, yeah. What is 4 times 8? And she couldn't figure it out. Where is Annalena Baerbock when you need her? Where's Ursula von der Leyen when you need her? Is Kristina Kallas any relation to Kaya Kallas, Stunning and Brave? Kaya Kallas? I don't know. I don't know, but she didn't know the answer. The education minister did not know the answer to 4 times 8. She's got to do some Annalena Baerbock math. 4 times 8 multiplied by 360. Square roots of 360 divided by 360 degrees. 4 times 8. 4 times 8 is 360 degrees, right? Oh, man. Let me play the video. And I really hope this is not AI. I really hope this is not AI at all. But anyway, I will play the video and I will sign out for today. theduran.locals.com. Check us out on X. Check us out on Rumble. Check out the Duran Shop. Subscribe to this channel. Come on, just give me a subscription to this channel, everybody. Come on. Come on, I'm showing you parakeets. That should be enough for a subscription, or that should be at least enough for a like to the video. Anyway, I will see everybody tomorrow. Take care.
Haridus ei ole ainult matemaatika valemite selgeks õppimine.
Palju on 8 korda 4?
Eks ole, mina ei tea. Palju on 8 korda 4?
8 pluss 8 on 16 ja 16 korda 2 on 32.
Just, no näe.